Shante, welcome to our channel.
Shante, I hope you guys are doing fine, and I hope your week is going okay.
I mean, I don't hate my work, but I hate having to sustain the energy through the day somehow, probably because I'm depressed, but then I'm like, Monday is Monday, Tuesday, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have at least in Monday, you're like, okay, let's get things done. And Tuesday, I'm like, okay, I'm already tired, and where's the weekend? It's so far away. I don't feel like it's Friday. So that's how it is for me. So I hope all you guys watching aren't, as low on energy like me because of all the depression. But yeah, hope your days are going well. Today's video is about stuff like this. Actually, we were going to talk about a positive attitude towards mental health, and we're going to share about our experiences with mental health and how people's perspectives, like what we've come across as well. And we're going to look into a video that we recently came across that Selena Gomez has put out about her struggles and how people had received it. There's a documentary on Apple TV about it, but I think the this video that we're going to watch now is about a recent episode that's going to air. So let's get into that.
Candid and revealing words from Selena Gomez.
I lied. I would go online and I would post a picture of myself and I would say, it doesn't matter. I'm not accepting what you're saying. All the while being in the room posting that, crying my eyes out because nobody deserves to hear those things.
The entertainer opening up in a new Apple TV Plus episode of Dear, once again using her fame to humanize mental health struggles. 30-year-old Texan is the most followed woman on Instagram at 399 million followers.
Did you know that?
But with all this attention, Selena says she struggles mightily behind otherwise picture-perfect images. In the Apple TV Plus docuseries, the artist and businesswoman shares how medications to help treat her lupus caused weight gain, which she says fueled online criticism about her body.
Though I was posting these things saying, it doesn't bother me, because I didn't want it to bother other people who are experiencing the same thing. Getting shamed for what they look like, who they are, who they love. I just think it's so unfair. I don't think that anybody deserves to feel less than.
Selena has long been outspoken about protecting her mental health. I spoke with her last year about launching the multimedia company Wondermind, along with her mother, Mandy Teffy, and business partner, Daniela Pearson. Its mission? To destigmatize mental health and share coping methods, large and small. The star is one of many celebrities who've spoken out against body shaming.
It's like it doesn't matter how much positive energy you put into the world, you're still going to have people who have something mean to say about you.
In 2021, singer-songwriter Lizzo shared her pain live during an intimate and emotional message on Instagram after receiving fat-phobic comments and racism from internet trolls.
That was a video which was kind of surprising because I didn't realize that people who put out, like how she put it, people who put out a lot of positivity into the world, like Lizzo has such upbeat songs, she comes across as somebody who's bubbly and happy and positive, and that spreads. Like her song, which was, I think, Juice, and, that hair tossing, I think that is Juice, right? It's like so positive and upbeat. So you don't realize that people don't catch that vibe, and instead they go around body shaming her. Because why would you do that? You don't get that from the video. From the video, you get somebody who's positive and optimistic and who's, keeping up the positive vibes, trying to cheer other people up. That's what the song was about. And same with Selena Gomez. She's been a Disney star since she was a kid, right? And she's a very good professional business woman as well. And she's on her way living her life. Why do people not take inspiration from people instead of that? Why do they like body shame them and, talk about them in a derogatory way? Because after all, behind every screen that you look at, I mean, there's a person behind it. If not just celebrities, let's say I post a picture or you post a picture, and if we get like one or two slight remarks or something from somebody, I mean, people may pass it off as a joke or something, but it's like it's gonna hurt, because no matter what, no matter how thick skinned we are or how we rationalize to ourselves saying it doesn't matter, because it really doesn't matter. But it does prick, like why do people have to go out of the way to be rude?
They're called trolls because they have nothing better to do, so they just go ahead and target
On the
celebrities
internet.
and just
Yes.
think about them, anyone to know who they actually are.
Yeah, the
I don't know, maybe they
anonymity, I
just do it
think
so that they can feel good
anonymity, I think,
about
gives them a
themselves.
little bit more courage to do it. But I think more than
Yeah.
just an internet troll, this is slightly a bigger issue because not a lot of people have a healthy understanding of mental health struggles, of health, not just mental health, but even physical health. That's when we are kind of treading into the area of body shaming because people just don't have a healthy understanding of certain things and they end up putting their opinion out to people. Like even in real life, let's say, for example, if someone always tells you when they meet you after a while, if they think it's a compliment to tell you something like, hey, it looks like you've lost weight. I mean, that's not a compliment. It's like telling me that, okay, you're less fat or something like that. Or someone sees you after a long time and says something like, I don't know, your skin looks better than before. I mean, it depends on how we
Okay,
say
that
it.
is not bad.
That is not
Your
bad, but if you
skin
say
looks.
something like, hey, you're not breaking out as much. It depends. Let's say someone's genuinely having some troubles with their skin and they're having a lot of breakouts and they're working on it with their dermatologist. If you tell them something like, oh, it's reducing, or I don't know, it's not something to comment upon. It's none of your business. They could be going through certain things, but when it comes to posture, body image as well, where do you stand in what do you think is right about how to look at a healthy lifestyle versus how to look at a healthy looking aesthetic, because that's where people get kind of get the lines blurred when they say stuff like, hey, if you don't tell someone that, if you tell someone it's okay to be fat, are you promoting obesity? It's like, no, but telling someone something like, you have to, you're not qualified to tell someone whether or not they're obese. And if somebody
Yeah.
is necessarily, if somebody's thin, that doesn't mean they're healthy. There's a line between the two. Like you have to be, you're talking about what you are doing with yourself to maintain a healthy lifestyle and things that you found that works for you, that you think, it's a healthy habit, and sharing it with someone is
Oh, just a
okay.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Okay.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
So sharing that with someone is okay. It's a healthy discussion and a healthy dialogue to open up to talk about, what are the different healthy habits that you can bring about in your lifestyle, and having a body goal, like wanting to get your ideal weight or wanting to look a certain way is completely fine. But putting your ideas, which may or may not be correct based on what you know and don't know, because not all of us are nutritionists, not all of us are doctors, not all of us are, fitness experts to comment on each and every person's body image to say who's healthy and who's not. But that's what I mean, like talking about it is absolutely fine, because if I ask you a suggestion for like, a healthy workout routine, for example, or if I talk to you about my skincare routine or ask you about your skincare routine, that is totally fine. But I'm no expert to tell you or tell somebody else that, you're looking too fat or you're looking too thin or you're looking too strong or you're looking too weak, because I don't know what's correct by myself to enough to judge or diagnose another person. Right. So that's where I draw my line. How do you look at it?
Um, I mean, in terms of body shaming, I think it's all because, like, in olden days, like, since movie stars are always focused on being so fit and like being in shape for the camera, it kind of created a society where it's like if you're thin and you're fit, if you're thin and you look fit, you're healthy. If you look a bit overweight, you're fat, and that's not good. So that's how the whole thing came about, that like if you're a bit overweight or like if you're a bit on the like more like buff side, I would say. And if you're not like lean, then that's like considered to be like not a good thing. Because all I'm sure like you see most of the actresses are pretty like lean and they're always like fit, and they're like, you can just see like it's just muscles. It doesn't look like they have much body fat or anything. So I think it all started with that. So it's like in the olden days, actresses didn't make it look like being thin is what's good, and being a bit over your expected weight is a bad thing. Then I don't think people would be like body shaming much these days. It's like if you take colorism, for example, in like South Asia, it's always like a thing for like Bollywood actresses to look fair. The ones who have a dark skin, like dark skin, once they go to like Bollywood after some time, they take treatments to look light skin. And that creates like this image that if you're light skinned, then that's good. If you're dark skinned, then you're not pretty, and that kind of stuff. So I think it's the same case in terms of like body image.
Yeah,
Because like
I think also it also
actresses
goes
and
with people
actors
getting a
have
tan.
a big influence on society. So like if you make it look like being thin is what is good, then everyone else would be like, okay, I'm thin, so I'm good. If that person is not thin and she's a bit on the heavy side, then that's not a good thing. I'd say
True.
like there's a huge issue with colorism in like South Asia, just because of like how celebrities have made it look like because like most of the celebrities in India, like they're on the lighter side, they're not on the
No,
darker
that's
side,
very much
and
a
most of
thing
them
as
are
well because
fit.
people who have a good talent, they find it tough to crack through the industry if they don't have that particular
Yeah,
accepted look, which is a problem. But I
yeah,
also the same thing
and
with people
they're
getting a
all
fake tan,
fit.
It's not always
And they're
healthy to
all
get a tan.
fit. Like even after like they give birth to a kid, 1 month later they're like back to the way they were before.
Yeah.
Okay,
And when it comes
so
to body
it
image, I
creates that
think
image like
back in the days when, by back in the days, I mean like way back in the days when there was depression and everything, it was considered more healthy or luxurious for someone to be fat because that meant that they were doing well and they were able to get food. And that's why you see the olden paintings depicting good-looking women as someone who's extremely fat, and like, in a way, kind of obese because all those paintings make you feel like the woman, it's like impossible to be that fat. So that was they romanticized, eating a lot and gaining weight as something healthy. And then later on, thankfully, that changed, and they started developing understanding of health rather than how people look. But and then when media industry and everything started popularizing a particular kind of look, a particular body shape, because everyone's bodies are different and there are different body shapes. So it's not a certain particular look which is healthy because everyone can have different genetic compositions and have different body frames that doesn't necessarily look a particular way. So that's why there was this thing about Victoria's Secret. There was this song as well that was trending recently, which said how Victoria's Secret is like, it used to cash in on body issues, and it's some dude who owns the company, and there was a lot of negative press around him as well about how he was very selective about the models, and it was really tough on them as well to look a certain way, and everyone had to look exactly a particular way. And they made a lot of money out of it, but it brought about a lot of body image issues into society, and it helped people develop a very unhealthy understanding of what looks good. So that's the thing about that. That's the allegation on Victoria's Secret, and there was a lot of bad press around it. After which, I think around 200 stores closed down because of it. And I think in this generation, we're kind of lucky because people are beginning to have a better understanding of health, overall health, and everything, and our society is becoming a little bit more inclusive. And when you spoke about skin as well, like skincare and stuff like that as well, it's like now skincare is being like there's some importance thrown on skincare and wanting to keep your skin healthy rather than just putting on the best makeup look. It's not that makeup is bad, but even in makeup products, now you get like hydrating foundations and things like that, which is good for your skin. So the focus is shifting a little bit more towards taking care of your overall health rather than just the appearance of things. But that's how things were
I
for
mean
a
skincare
lot of
is not
things.
that big of a thing. I mean it's not like
It
such
depends
a big
on
thing
where you live
compared
too.
to
In
like
some places, for example,
colorism
I've
and
lived in places where
body
moisture
shaming.
content in the air is more in that kind of places, and based on our age as well. So when I was younger and when I was in a place which was a coastal area, for example, I never had to do so much for my skin. My skin was attuned to it a lot. I was born there. So it was attuned to it a lot. I was younger, so I didn't need a lot of hydration. I wasn't breaking out a lot, and I wasn't having a lot of dark circles. I pretty much didn't have a lot of issues with my skin, so I didn't realize that skincare was important. But now that I'm growing a bit older and I've moved to a city which has drier weather, like it's a landlocked city. There is no moisture in the air. I realize that I need hydration. The hydration that's already there, and it's not enough for my skin. Like I need to take proper care of it. If not, it starts responding badly to the microclimate. So it is important. But only thing is, the importance of this was not uh, understood earlier, but now people are looking at overall health. Like when you talk about fitness, the whole narrative of fitness has improved these days because people are talking about staying healthy, eating healthy. If you go to gyms nowadays, they don't market by saying will help you lose this much weight in this small amount of time or anything like that. Instead, they talk about how your visceral fat is bad for you, how we should target on reducing that because that's not good for your health, instead of telling you like you need to aesthetically reduce in certain spots alone or something like that. Things like that are making more sense now in society, but despite that, there is a very unhealthy understanding of skincare, healthcare, hair care, every kind of nook you can get to
I
into
mean,
when it
skincare
comes
is
to
not such a big
I
issue.
mean, it is.
Like
You know how
everyone
people get
eventually,
tan a lot, thinking that it's healthy sometimes, and some people because it looks good, but it's not necessarily good to expose your skin so much to UV radiation these days. It's extremely harmful,
I
and
mean, it's more of like, it's not such a big thing as compared to like colorism and body shaming. Because everyone,
I'm just saying it's
it's
all a
not such
part of
a,
people's understanding these days. It's good that it's slightly better than before, but it's still there's a lot of like you're pointing out, there are still issues like racism or body shaming and things like that still in society, but it's slightly better than how it was before is all I'm saying. But though we need a lot of change that has to come about.
I
uh
don't think it is. Not in
I
South
don't think
Asia.
so. Not
No.
in South.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
maybe.
America and stuff, but not in South Asia. No way.
No, but I
And
believe
I
it's
don't see it
existent in
changing.
America and stuff as well because we don't live there, we don't experience it on a regular basis.
Yeah, but
But
I feel like people are more okay with being like the way they are,
I'll tell you
like
one example because there was this cab person once when I was in UK. I was traveling somewhere and he was very much into fitness
I don't
and
know about the
health.
colorism part, but I know about like maybe body shaming and stuff. People are not that much into like, I don't know, maybe because I haven't lived there, but I think they're a bit more accepting than South Asia.
I found that people have a general better understanding of health. Here, very recently people started thinking, oh, it's about health, not just about how you look. So that's one thing. But my example, which I was going to tell you, this person was really into fitness and health and was talking to me about, all the different multivitamins which are good and blah, 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 and all the healthy kind of recipes and things like that. And suddenly he mentioned something like, we didn't talk about where I'm from. He was like, nowadays, he was very old. So he was like, nowadays people think it's so cool to get a tan. And then he was like, well, I think that's very unhealthy. And then he told me, so if you youngsters, people like you, if you think it's cool to get a tan, and if you've got a fake tan on, I don't think that is supposed to be healthy. What do you think? And then he suddenly looked a bit startled. He was like, he wasn't sure if he offended me or if it was, not the right thing to say. But then it came from a good place because he wasn't trying to be racist or anything. He was trying to talk about health. And one of the things he got into talking about was how it's bad to expose your skin to UV rays. So that is a normal healthy. That's what I was trying to talk about in the beginning, about how it's okay and normal to talk about health and skincare and fitness routines and things like that. And yes, I also agree that it's not cool to just go and get some extra UV radiation, which might be harmful for your skin. So I didn't feel offended because I didn't think he was offending me, but I could see that he was a bit perplexed after he said that. He was not sure because he didn't realize that, maybe I didn't get a tan or something like that. But I did end up getting a lot of tan, not intentionally, because it was extremely scorching hot in India for a while. So that is also understandable. Sometimes people end up, not wearing sunscreen. They go out and it's not
Yeah.
good for your skin at all. And I actually end up doing that sometimes because I'm lazy to keep up with my skincare routine. So that's something I'm conscious about. I'm like, oh crap, I need to put on proper sunscreen before I get out. But yeah, so then I do believe we need to have healthier dialogues. We shouldn't like be afraid to talk about certain things thinking that we might offend somebody. But at the same time, we need to educate ourselves on properly having a proper understanding first about what is healthy and how to keep ourselves healthy before we start putting our opinions out on the internet, because we're no professionals. We don't know the right healthy thing to do. Having said that, the same thing goes around mental health as well, is what I think, because I think we should make like another episode to put up where we can talk about mental health, because this itself, I think, has been our entire video where we talked about body shaming and health and skincare and hair care and things like that. But what do you think? I think the same understanding revolves around mental health as well. As long as people don't develop a proper understanding for themselves and come to an acceptance of their own mental health, because all of us these days, we go through some struggles or the other. We can't deny it. We can't think that we don't have any issues. I'm not saying you might have a disorder per se, but there will be a little bit of depression. There'll be a little bit of anxiety. Those two are like the most common things these days, which most people end up having. So it's like when you start with yourself and when you seek out knowledge from the right places to improve your own understanding, that's when you develop a better perspective as well. And as a society, I think there'll be a healthier understanding of these things.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the changes happening more in Western society than in our
In
culture.
Eastern society, right? I see another problem with Eastern society. They go back to some
Yeah.
olden roots. It's not that we are moving away from culture if we are moving towards progress, right? So they end up thinking, someone once told me, I think I spoke about it in my other podcast as well, where someone once came up to me and they were curious about the fact that I was depressed because they had no idea. I mean, this was all new terms to them. So they were like, so I was like, yeah, I'm depressed. And they were like, back in the days when life was much harder, people got through things, and depression and psychology and things like that weren't even evolved back then, and people didn't know much about it. But people survived and they actually did quite well. And you people are privileged to have so much in life these days. How do you go around cribbing saying you're depressed? I was like, no, I mean, how does that make sense? Back in the days, we had less stressors and things were different. Now that we have the facilities to take help for our mental health, maybe people were undiagnosed back in the days. What's wrong in taking help if you need help? But that's their
Yeah,
understanding.
it's
That's
more
where
of
they're coming
like,
from.
I mean, the reason most of them say that is because like older generation, a lot of them who are like probably living in decent houses, good houses, and their kids have like things they didn't have back then is because of the whole money issue. And money was like one of the biggest problems. So like no one had time to think about other things and they just focused on their money issues because you need money to survive. If you don't have money, you don't have time to think about anything else. And it doesn't even enter your mindset that there could be other reasons as to why you're depressed. So
Mhm.
like back in the days, like my parents, your parents, their parents probably, even my grandparents, it's all like money issues. So that's like the number one thing. So the like our parents didn't have the time to think about like other things and focus on maybe other things that could have made them depressed, but it didn't because that was not their whole problem. The entire
Yeah.
problem was based on money.
No,
So
but I
now
guess that's
that the
also because
money
as a
issue is
society back
sorted
then,
for
people
us,
didn't understand much about mental health too, right? If all your parents is like our parents is people, like people around them also didn't know much about mental health, and it wasn't something that people paid
I
attention
don't think
to.
they had the time. I
Yeah.
mean, it was probably there, but it probably wasn't discussed much because I don't think they had a lot of time to think about it and to actually go through it. Because come on,
And
like
these
if
days,
you're
it's become
earning
more
a daily
accessible, mental
wage,
health support, and it's not
yeah,
as
and
it's not
like
like a luxury commodity or something
I
as
mean,
like how it could have been back then, maybe.
money is the main necessity. Like if you don't have it, you're always gonna be like hunting and finding ways to earn it. You don't have time to consider any other
Oh, okay.
problems you
You're
might
trying
have
to
in
say
life
that
besides health.
that was their predominant thought through the day. Like they didn't have time to think about
Yeah,
anything much else. Is what you're saying. Maybe that
yeah.
could have been a thing for
Because like
a certain
if they have
generation
like
where,
kids and stuff, they need to earn money for the kids. They need to make sure they have enough money. Like if their kids have health issues and they need to go to the hospital. So that's why physical health and like money were the two things that were always on their mind. And that issue is like sorted for us in a way because like
yeah,
we have
our
the
quality
money
of
because our
life so
parents had the money.
improved over generations
Yeah.
because
So that's why
our
they
current
say
generation,
like,
we have more awareness as well, and we have avenues to
yeah.
turn to if we need help for mental health too. So which is a good
And we have
thing.
like more privileges in a way. So that's why the older generations feel like life for us was much harder than it is for you guys.
I
And
mean, it's
I
not
do agree
wrong,
to
but
a certain extent. Like they probably had other issues, but they never dwelled on it. That's why they say like
I don't think so. That's where I think there's a difference. Maybe they did dwell on it, maybe they did have problems, but they never put a label on it or found a way to manage it and talk to a professional about it and work through it. How we talk about self growth, self reflecting. I feel maybe certain part of that is stunted for them because of the generational issues. Like the entire generation was, like you said, focused on different things, material things perhaps, and they didn't have time to improve their quality of life, like personal growth and things like that. That could be a thing if we
yeah.
talk about the entire Eastern society, perhaps. I mean, if
I mean,
they
think
didn't
about
have
it. Like, if Selena Gomez wasn't a celebrity who was like super rich and she was like someone who lived in the States that was earning like daily wage or something, because there are a lot of people who do that in the States. Do you think she would have the time to actually like think about all this in like depth? And wouldn't you think like her main focus would be just like earning and like
actually,
living?
yeah, she could if she had some help and had some time to be like what's going on to figure life out. But like you say, I think she'd be
Yeah, but her
caught
main
up
goal
in
would
the
be
stress a
like
bit more. But I
earning,
think
right?
I know, but that doesn't mean if she's in the place where she is, she doesn't have equal amount of stresses where she's caught up finding it
Yeah,
difficult. All
true.
of us
But I
do.
think like
Like for example, you and me, people might think we have life simpler in a way. We have less stressors. We're not raising a family right now. We don't have the pressure of having to provide for our children. But that doesn't mean we don't have enough stress in our lives. I'm depressed, and that doesn't mean that I'm just dwelling on something or anything. But there are genuine problems for everybody, no matter where they are in their life, like how old or which phase of life they're in. There's equal. I mean, if I can say that about a younger kid who's just in their, final year of school or something, saying, "Oh my God, for me, life was much lighter. Like I think so much lighter for me back then than it is now. Life was less serious, and I don't understand why they're stressed, but." For them, it's like they have their final exams to give. They have their SATs to give. They have their, all those college-based entrance exams to give. And for them, it might feel like it's end of their life or like there's nothing to do if they fail it. And there are chances for them to fail it because competition is extremely high. They may not get into the top universities. They may get into the second one or the third or the fourth degree one, but
yeah, so
that doesn't
like
end
my
their life
point
there.
is like your current issues, whether it's your exam or you have a I don't know, a health problem, like you have a heart condition or money problems or marriage problems or I don't know, your children are not doing well, so you're stressed because you're a mom and that's stressing you out if your kids are not doing well. So like those primary problems take up your time so much to the point like you can't really focus on like self-growth and stuff. So that's why I think back in the days, all this like depression and self-growth and staying positive and all that
Yeah,
weren't
that
such
kind
a
of turned
big
them off
thing.
is what you're trying to say. They're like,
Yeah,
we can't do all that. But that is not right because life goes hand in hand with mental health, just as it goes with physical health as well. Because nobody tells anyone if they're having diabetes or if they're having high blood pressure to just cool it and not give too much importance because there are more pressing issues. I think the same way now that we in our generation at least we've learned to give importance to the fact that self-care, self-growth, mental health, all that is important as well. And it's good that we're working towards it.
I
I think
think like
our kids will have like a
physical
better
health will
environment.
always be physical health will always be number one compared to mental health.
I think both goes hand in hand because mental health at some point of time affects your physical health as well. Like if you have a bad sleeping habit, that will invariably, and if you're slightly depressed, let's say, and if it accumulates for a while, you're gonna get insomnia, and that's gonna make your physical health worse. Okay. Anyway, I think we're kind of in the end of the video, so I'm kind of rushing to finish it because I have only 1 minute left until the recording
Oh,
stops. So let's continue this in our next episode, guys. Please let us know if you like it, if you wanna see your next episode where we talk about mental health as well and about our individual struggles too, because I am down to being a little open about it, and hopefully it might help somebody else as well who's going through a similar struggle to talk about it and to relate maybe to a video and maybe talk about it to their friends and family. So Stay tuned for our next episode for that. Thank you for watching thus far, and hope you guys have a lovely
Bye.
day and be kind to one another. Let's be kind to one another and keep our minds a little bit more open in the upcoming